So today is an awesome day, something we've been waiting for I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months, something like that.
At least, yes.
So a little backstory here. We are in Indiana, staying at my parents' place. They're allowing us to mooch dock off them here. Got a really nice little spot down in the lower part of their property. Electric, water, and yeah, so we've been here about 3 weeks now, and yeah, going on 4 weeks. But it's been pretty awesome. And we came to Indiana to kind of hang out here, was to take delivery of our new Lectric e-bikes.
Yay! So
and
excited.
Yeah, so it's been about 2 months since we ordered them, and look what FedEx delivered today. Yep, so today we thought we'd share with you the unboxing and just setting up of the bikes, and looking at the video online of the by Lectric, I guess. It's a simple setup process, but the batteries come charged at 50%, and so they recommend that you charge them fully before their first use. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tear open the boxes, take the bikes out, unfold them, set them up, and then get them plugged in and charging, so that maybe later on this afternoon,
yeah,
we can take a ride and be reckless.
That'd be really cool. Yes.
So that'll be fun.
Can you tell we're excited? Woo!
Yeah, long time coming.
Yes. What you got there? Woo! All right, very important. And now Shauna's bike. Wow.
So far it looks like all the packaging and protective foam and everything is put on nicely where it needs to be.
Yeah.
I don't see any glaring scratches or dents or anything yet. So what comes with the bike? A little bell, instruction manual, and for the basic setup of the bike, there are really only 3 steps, and I'll show you that here in a minute. Instruction manual, got a wrench and an Allen key to make adjustments, and of course the charger, and then a little instruction manual about the lithium-ion battery that is pre-installed in the bike. And one additional thing that we got with our bike as part of the promotion, if you will, are these really nice Panniers. So these go over the back of the bike rack, and I'll show you those installed in a minute. But nice little cargo pouches to carry things in when you're going to the store or for a picnic on the beach or something like that. So that'll be nice when that's installed. 3 steps in setting up the bike, the basic setup. And the first is to swivel the handlebars in place. Again, pretty simple. Got a lock here that locks everything in, and then this little tab pushes into the lock, which locks this locking lever into place. And there are the handlebars. Now you also have an adjustment here, and we'll go through that later. As you fit yourself to the bike, this will adjust up and down, which is nice. And then also, they supplied an Allen wrench will allow these handlebars to swivel to kind of meet your body. So step number 2 is to unfold the body and lock it into place. And there's a lever on this side, a little silver lever that gets pushed into place, locked in, snaps in. Then there's a locking tab that flips down into the slot and locks that into place. And to lock the frame into place, this lever gets snapped in, and then the safety key swivel down into the... Step number 3 is pretty simple, and that's simply locking in the pedals. And those are spring loaded, so you just flip them down on both sides and they flip into place. Now what's really cool about these is when you go to fold everything up, you just press in on the pedal and it folds back up like that. That's a nice solid locking pedal as well. Okay, for basic adjustments, again, this has a seat post lock on it, quick release lock. And as you can see, the seat post is pretty long. So for someone like me who's 6'2", that's going to be important to raise this, be able to raise the seat post up high so that you get proper riding position. So we'll take that seat post out just like this. And then the instructions do say to unlock the seat post, have it open like this, turn this little nut on one side until you get a little bit of resistance, and that gives you the proper tension for the lock. Put your seat post back in, and then fit that where you want it, and then lock your seat post clamp back in place. And the same goes for the front. It's got the same design, so whenever you want to adjust that to fit your body, just go through that same process. Pretty simple setup. All we have to do now is plug it in and let it charge. So as I said earlier, their battery comes charged at 50%, and according to Lectric, you need to charge the battery fully before the first ride in order to kind of condition the battery and improve its longevity. So that's going to be next. We'll get everything charged up and turn the bike on, take it for a spin. All right, so let's go through the basic controls of the bike. You have a front brake lever. You have your mode and control panel that operates the bike essentially. Your mode switch, your up and down arrows which operate your pedal assist modes, little bell, your monitor. And on the right side you have your shift levers, your up and down lever. Okay, so to turn your bike off and on, you simply press the mode button here. Turns the bike off. Press again and hold. Turns the bike on. Cycle through your pedal assist. 1 through 5, you press the up to go up and down to go down. That's simple. So on the monitor you have your energy bar that lets you know how much battery power you have. Your miles per hour will tell you obviously how fast you're going. Your pedal assist right here. And then your odometer. You can cycle through using the mode button here. Cycle through odometer, your trip, battery voltage, current going through the battery, and you'll only be able to see that when you're pedaling, and then your trip timer, and that'll reset every time you turn the bike off or on. So that's the basic overview of the controls for the bike. Pretty straightforward and simple. Alright, on my bike I decided to install the panniers that came with the bike as part of the promotion. So they're actually pretty nice. They open really nice and wide. So there's an outer pocket, zipped pocket here, which is nice. These are all waterproof, by the way. And a nice large deep pocket. Right now I've got just the manual and tools, and I keep the charger in there as well. So I think that's really a really nice option to have. If you can get that, certainly do that. And here's a shot of how the bike comes without the pannier installed. It has a really nice rugged bike rack and a nice spring-loaded mechanism to hold your cargo to the bike.
Why would we ever pedal? Oh, I see. Ryan, look at him, show off. He's probably going 20 miles per hour right now. Ooh, I'm going 9. About that, 9 miles per hour. That is plenty fast. far taking these bikes around town. We've taken them down trails, down side streets, down some busy streets. We've gone uphill, we've gone downhill. What do you think so far? What are your impressions?
So far so good. Very impressed with the bike, and you know, it took a while to get, but I think definitely well worth the wait.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Are they reaching the speeds that you anticipated they would reach?
Well, I mean, it's rated at 20 miles per hour, so they've definitely reached that. I've yet to figure out how to unlock it to the next speed, which is 28 miles per hour.
Oh, so they're like our Segways, where they have like a...
Yeah, you have to go into the settings and configure the speed so they can go to 28, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet. There's nothing in the instructions really that makes it clear on how to do that.
Right.
So I guess maybe I'll have to reach out to Lectric Bikes and ask them how to do that.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. So we went up some fairly steep, well, to us, they're kind of fairly steep hills around here. And
Hilly
I maxed out at about 19 and a half. I think you actually reached 20 miles per hour.
You're using just pure pedal assist.
Well,
pure
when you
throttle.
say pedal, pure throttle when I was going up the hill. Got a little nervous because I was watching the energy bar tank on me as I was going up, but it never conked out. It kept me going at a pretty good speed. But
yeah.
It was great. It was really nice, especially not to have to pedal if you don't want to up those hills. Now you were taking it at like 5 P.
Yeah, I had the pedal assist 5 in 7th gear, so yeah, it was I was trucking along, and actually I think I did hit about maybe 21, maybe 22 miles per hour if I recall correctly. So
yeah.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
But the pedal assist is really nice. How it kicks in, it's nice and smooth, and you just come to expect it after a few minutes on the bike. So kind of a really neat feature. Yeah. And then you know, the ease of cycling through all those pedal assist modes, pretty nice. You know, there are a few. If I'm being honest, there are a few adjustments that need to be made. I think the brakes need to be adjusted a little bit, and there are some rattles and clings and clangs going on. I need to kind of get to the bottom of what those are. I think mainly just fender clearances and things like that.
I think one of mine is the fender for sure.
Yeah, kind of rattling against the frame and whatever. So
yeah.
But you know, to be expected. Shipping all the way from the manufacturer to the U.S. and all the way from California to us. So yeah, there are going to be some things I think that need to be adjusted, but I did do a once over on both bikes before we rode them, just to make sure everything was tight and you know, no loose nuts or bolts or anything. So
that is something that I've noticed with these bikes, is everything feels very secure, very tight. There's nothing that feels you know, wibbly or wobbly or anything like that. Nothing feels flimsy. They feel very solid, very well built.
Yeah, and you know, my dad's been in the manufacturing business for many years. He's retired now, but he looked at the bikes and commented on the quality of the welding. So they get an A+ from him on the quality of welding. At least the appearance of the welding. Hopefully they're all nice and structurally sound.
Yeah, that's good to know.
I'm sure they are.
And we took it over some trails that were rather bumpy. We went over some roots, some rocks and things like that. They handled very well, especially going, you know, faster than you would normally pedal. They handled very well. I think they were very sturdy. The only thing that we noticed, I think you would agree, is that the seats are quite hard. So after a while, our butts were starting to feel it on those seats, and I think we're probably going to look at getting new ones.
Definitely some newer saddles that are a little bit wider and more cushy for the tushy.
Yeah.
The tire inflation is supposed to be 30 psi. I think that's a bit much. I think I'm going to back those pressures down about 5 psi or so and see if it softens the ride up a little bit. I think it probably will.
That might help. Yeah. That'll be the next trip out. Yeah.
So overall impressions of the bike, definitely 2 thumbs up, I think, for both of us.
Definitely. We're having a great time. Oh, you know, one thing that I think I was quite surprised, and maybe you were too, is the weight. I know they tell you what the weight is, but when you actually feel the weight and you lift it, and we'll be moving these bikes in and out of the back of our Jeep, they are a little heavier than I think I anticipated. I don't even know if I can lift those bikes up by myself.
They're a little bit heavier than I anticipated. I think they are 59 pounds. Most of the weight is in the rear of the bike, because that's where the motor is. That's on the rear hub motor and on the rear wheel. So that's where most of the weight is. And yeah, I mean, they are definitely hefty. And but you know, the nice thing about that is that they do fold up into that compact sort of origami structure, as I call it, and so they're somewhat easy to handle, but definitely weighty.
That's good to know. What about the ease of folding it or opening it up once you got it, opening it and closing it? Was that pretty easy?
Well, the first time it's, you know, it's a bit of a challenge, but once you do it, you realize how everything kind of moves and becomes a little more fluid the second, third time you do it. So certainly easier than, you know, after the first time.
Okay.
Nice thing about the battery is that it does come out of the bike so that you can store that inside your rig in somewhat of a temperature controlled environment, because you don't want those batteries to become too cold or too hot. They're a lithium ion battery and they are sensitive to temperature swings, so that's something to be cognizant of. We paid $899 and we had a discount code that got us the Panniers, 2 sets of Panniers for free. I don't think you can beat the price for any bike on the market right now. So definitely, I think, well worth it.
They're well built. They feel really nice when you're riding them. The speed exceeded my expectation as to how fast they go. Good quality. I'm really happy with these bikes. Yeah,
I am too. I was concerned that, you know, sort of having a high center of gravity on the bikes, because I'm a big guy, I have to set pretty high, and with the smaller tires and wheels I was concerned about instability, but I don't feel any instability on the bike.
I think it's also one more point to make. We are not reviewing these bikes for the company. We're not sponsored in any way.
No.
We heard about these bikes from another YouTuber and really got interested in them that way, and so that's why we went ahead and purchased them. Yeah,
and they're really kind of taking the internet by storm. You see them all over YouTube now, which is great, and you know, it's a great small company out of Arizona. Actually, they're started not too far from where we used to live in Arizona. And you know, I've communicated a couple times, I think once with Levi, the CEO, and Robbie, who is, I'm not quite sure what his role is, but you know, very communicative, very willing to answer our questions and all that. So can't say enough about the company. Let us know what you think. Give us a big thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do that. Make sure you hit the notification bell too, so that you're the first ones to know when we release new content.
Right.
So with that,
we'll see ya.